Okay. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Victoria Howard. I teach at Jackson Independent School, and I teach 4th and 5th grade English, science, and writing. And this is my project, Increasing Student Collaboration in the Classroom. So the question that really guided my focus on this grant was I wanted to know what kind of impact student engagement and participation had on achievement. And after I did my research, trends showed that students regularly willing to participate in the classroom were more likely to succeed. The key word is willingly. Not many want to participate willingly. So I needed to find a way to get students more engaged. All right, factors for not participating. These were the top 4 answers from my students that I polled in my classroom. A lot of them said, I'm just too shy. And then some of them said that they're embarrassed. Some of them said, I just don't know the answer. I don't know what you're talking about. And then the other ones, and the ones that really got me, is they said that they're disconnected from the conversation because they either can't hear the person or they're just afraid that they won't be loud enough, so they don't want to speak up in class. And then another part of that was that they can't see the board sometimes. And this is my problem of practice. I am #blessed with a huge classroom. I'm in a building that used to be an old gymnasium, and it's been split into 4 classrooms. All 4 of those classrooms are huge, and it is a blessing and a curse. If you can imagine, instead of the insulation and things like that, we just have brick walls, so you can hear everything outside. There's a playground right out back that preschool uses. So during our reading time, we often get giggles and screams and things like that. We also share a wall with our new sensory room in the special needs classroom. It's awesome, it's amazing, but sometimes it's a little loud. You hear the clicking of the boards and things like that. And then also, this makes it really difficult for my students who sit in the back to be able to see any of my boards. I have 2 in the front, and then I have a smart TV up on my back wall. It's hard for them to see any of that, but there's nowhere else to seat them. So this really hurts us when they need to see something or if the student speaks very softly. This is more pictures of my classroom. It's just a big classroom. Okay, so I knew I wanted to make a change, and I knew that I needed to reach those students who felt discouraged. And these are all problems that I knew that I could fix, and that there was no need for these students to feel discouraged to speak in my classroom. So I started off by purchasing a small, cheap microphone, and I mean cheap. It was $4 at Walmart. And this helped students already. The ones who weren't speaking up, they were jumping up. They wanted to use the microphone. They wanted to be the stars. And so after using that microphone for a day, they were already jumping to participate, but I knew I needed to go farther. I wanted to reach more students. So my microphone moment reminded me of an episode of Shark Tank that I watched. And on the episode, they had the cue ball microphone system. And the cue ball microphone system is just a soft ball. And inside the ball is a microphone that's housed in it. All you have to do is just take the condenser off, and the microphone fits right inside. It is very durable. My students have dropped this. They've hit each other with it. I caught a couple trying to play dodgeball with it. It's very durable. But the thing that I love the most about it, and it was an unexpected surprise for me that taught me something, is that when you throw it to somebody, it shuts off. And then it takes a couple seconds before it turns back on. I've always had a problem with wait time. I want my students to answer like that. I caught myself, after using this, taking a couple seconds, waiting for the microphone to come back on, then letting my students answer, which has been very helpful. Their voice is amplified all over the classroom because I also got a speaker that comes with this, and it lets those softer speaking students feel more engaged, and the ones who said they couldn't hear are now fully engaged in the discussion. They don't have an excuse not to listen. So after remembering all this, I knew that the cue ball system was what I had to have. So my next task was reaching the kids who said they couldn't see the board well enough. And I also wanted to have an interactive board where my students could share and I could share with them. So after doing my research, I found that there are several systems that could allow me to do this without breaking the bank. And when I first presented in October, I presented the SmartCat board. But after I presented here, they all disappeared off the market. I'm not sure what happened. But anyway, it turned out to be a blessing in disguise because instead I got the eBeam Smart Marker Kit. And this is fully portable. It can go on any board. It can go on paper. You can lay it on the floor. And what you do is you take the sensor off. It has a magnet on the back. It sticks to your board, and then the sensor works. And then you use any kind of marker that you want. It goes in the smart marker. You click off the top, and it's just a, oh, the lid's got it on. It's just a plain old Expo marker. So what that does is my students are all one-to-one. They have Chromebooks. This connects to their Chromebooks, and so everybody has the board right in front of their face. And then they can collaborate with me. They can take screenshots of the notes. They can take those screenshots and drop them into their reports. It's been a game changer. So my students are fully engaged, and so now I wanted to see if that had any impact on their achievement. So the items I needed to complete this was the cue ball system, the eBeam smart marker set, and then the speaker for the microphone, and then extra Expo markers. So the benefits, this allowed everyone to be heard. Discussions and review games have become much more fun. We have the ball tossed all over the classroom. The smart markers, the sensor attaches to my already mounted whiteboards. I can even bring it back to my small groups. That way I can save everything that I've written that day. And then there's no special markers, just regular Expo markers or just regular markers plain if you're using paper. And then every student can see the board. The Chromebook screen updates by the second. They can add their own notes. Notes are taken on the board are always saved, and I can drop them directly in my Google Classroom. And then how I know it's working. These were taken at the beginning of the year with the map testing for my 4th and 5th graders. First, their achievement started off kind of low. We took the map test again 2 weeks ago, and these were my results. So I'm not saying that this is totally responsible, but it's definitely helped. Oh, I'm sorry. This was the engagement. That was the engagement survey. So their engagement's definitely gone up. And then this is their map reading scores. We've definitely seen a jump. I have my 4th graders testing on 75% proficiency in reading at the moment, and they started out at 50. So we've definitely seen a jump there. And then these are just some pictures. The video, I didn't even bother with video because I didn't think it would work. But you can see my iPad. What I'm writing on the board is showing up on my iPad. And then my students love throwing the ball. And then they wanted me to put that picture in because they wanted to be cute minions. And that's it. Anybody have any questions? On their screen. Yes. And I just put the link in the Google Classroom. They click on the link. It takes them right to the board. Super easy. This is called the eBeam marker set. This is the full one. It's more expensive, but I think the less expensive one is maybe like $400. This one's the more expensive one. But yeah, it's been great. So that's it.